Hey guys, what's going on? I'm doing a follow-up to part one of Option Bandits review, which is something I did probably middle of last week. So I hope you guys are having a good Christmas weekend. I thought I'd do this to kind of get it over with, try and get like part two done. I'll probably do a part three as well, just to try and give some more like data on their picks. And so if you haven't watched it yet, go to the link in the description below because I'm going to talk about some of the more positive things today. And if you go to the review, which I've started right here, as I said, there'll be a link in the description below. I'll talk a little bit more about like the pros and cons throughout this review as time goes on. First of all, one thing that has been doing really well in 2022 has been bullseye trades. So if you go to this review, check out bullseye trades. There's a link to the full track record for 2022. This is only one trade a week, whereas the Options Bandit service is picks every day. But honestly, like the bullseye trades alone, it has been worth it for me this year. So I know a few people that are just trading bullseye and nothing else. But if you are looking for some other trades, then you might want to look at this Options Bandits. And I'll be honest, I honestly thought this was a scam when I first started to see the ads on Facebook, like this one. So this is one of the ads. And there's a couple of red flags, and I talked about that in the previous video, so make sure you check that out. Because today I really want to focus more on the positive stuff. So the ads look like this. They talk about how you get lifetime access for $1.99, which is awesome. No monthly fees, access to pre-market alerts, beginner-friendly education. And so I talked about some of these things, that the beginner-friendly education is really just links to other people's YouTube videos, which is kind of weird, kind of suspicious. Don't want to dwell on that too much though. I also looked at some of the comments recently on the ads, and some of them are a little bit suspect in terms of overly positive, and then I look at the profiles and they're a bit weird. So anyway, they are claiming that in 2023 the price is going to go back up to the full price. So I copy pasted some comments here. They're saying, look, this will be $1.99 for lifetime. But once the promo is over, it will go back up to $1.99 per month. Well, I looked, and this promo's been going on for at least 3 to 6 months. So my suspicion is this is not really going to be $1.99 a month. But we'll see how that turns out. If it does, I don't recommend $1.99 a month. This program is not worth $1.99 a month. However, at $1.99 for lifetime, it is actually worth it, and I'm surprised because my initial impressions were kind of negative on this. I was really skeptical, but as I look into some more of the picks that came out recently, I think I've sort of changed my mind a bit. So if you go and check out this review, I'll show you some of the more recent stuff I've done on it. This was the first video, so go and check that out. More negative slant to it than this one. This one is. And so since then, I've actually done some more of the trades. So here is one of the Telegram things. One thing I don't like about Telegram is you don't get to see the actual picks from previous things. So this is December 23rd, but there's no way to see the previous days. It gets repinned each time, so you can't really check out a track record. And on that note, I know I say I'm going to try and be more positive in this review. I've reached out to them twice now. Once for an invoice to try and put this into my books for tax purposes, and no response. And also reached out to ask for more of a track record, just some more information about who's given these trade alerts and stuff, and still no response from them several days later. So kind of weird. But the good news is the picks actually do work. Some of them are pretty good. I've talked to a few people now that have had this service for a month or two and have actually made some money with it. So not all is lost. So this is one of the 21st, so 3 days ago now. I'm not going to do every single day. It's just going to get too much work. And honestly, kind of sampling it's probably good enough for you guys to get an impression on whether this is something that will work for you. So you can see back on the 21st, there was Microsoft and Cat. They were giving the calls, the expiration dates, the strike prices, and the target. So that's pretty cool. I looked at what happened, and really Microsoft actually did work, so I updated this review. And you can see here that there was an entry triggered on the Microsoft chart, and they would have got a really nice target up here and made about 30% in 30 minutes, which is great. So the Microsoft one worked. The other one didn't actually trigger, so the cat calls didn't trigger, so that's okay. A lot of them don't trigger, so that's not a problem though. It's like you don't want 5 trades a day, so having one trigger out of 5 it's good. It's good, And so that's what I found on the 23rd, which was yesterday. So for you guys in the Facebook group that have been following this, I posted this to talk about it, I want to focus a bit more in this video on it. So this was the 23rd picks. So it was, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here. So this was on Friday, it's Saturday at the moment. So there was Tesla calls, Netflix and SPY calls. This was pre-market. Now one little complaint I have here is this actually came out after market open, significantly after market open. So that was a little bit annoying because it's not quite clear how the SPY calls would have worked out given the price action at the market open. And I'll show you what I mean in a sec. So let's look at what happened. One quick note here again, they didn't actually put target prices on this day, so not sure why. Target price is no longer gone. So you have the strike price, the expiration, which was 0 DTE, so same day, so pretty risky. But these are supposed to be quick trades, so not the end of the world. And so there's no target price, potential entry, break and hold above 130. So let's look at the Tesla calls for Friday. So I've got a Tesla here. So I zoom out. So this is Friday's Tesla. And you can see this break and hold of 130 up here never happened. So this was never triggered as a buy. So that's fine. So that was one less to worry about, right? So Tesla never triggered. Netflix was actually similar, so I marked the Netflix chart here. And this isn't a bad thing. Being very selective, and one guy I was talking to actually mentioned this. He said, look, this is actually helping me become more disciplined. It means like I'm not taking trades just for the sake of it. I've got very rigid criteria. If it doesn't break and hold this line, I'm not in, and that's what happened with Netflix. It never actually triggered to the upside, so that was just ignored as well, because basically cutting down your number of trades. So the cool thing was the last one was SPY calls. Again, 0 DTE. So if we go and look at SPY for yesterday's trades, so this red line down here is the break and hold of 380. So that was the trigger for here. So break and hold above 380. SPY calls with a strike of 382. Now they don't give a profit target here. So I marked what I would consider to be a reasonable profit target, which is the 382. So you'd end up in the money, right, if you could hold this. And so this is a 1 minute chart. So you can see that all this dip happened within the first 20 minutes or so. So there's a couple of possibilities here. If you'd considered this move here as a break and hold, like these first few minutes, so if you'd bought here, say, okay, we've broken and held this line here. And so that would have been great. You'd be like, okay, cool. The big question is, on this huge dip, would you have stopped out? I suspect you might have, given this big rundown. If you'd bought it on the break and hold here, though, you'd have made some decent money. So you'd have ran all the way up from here, up to here, and you would have got your 10 to 20, maybe even 30% as you go up to here. So this is a problem with the key levels, right, where you have no input from people that are, maybe a bit more experienced at these. Is it's difficult to say. Like me personally, I don't buy stuff right out of the gate. I prefer for it to settle. So with this trade, I didn't take it, I was busy, but I most likely would have taken it on this spike. So it could really matter whether you were too eager out of the gates. You could have ended up taking a loss, or if you'd waited and been patient, you might have ended up with a really nice win. So even though you can look at these post-analysis like this, it doesn't always matter. It doesn't always mean that you would have been profitable. So overall, though, I'm not as negative as I was in the previous video. I looked at Thursdays as well, and overall, I don't think you're going to blow up your account doing this or anything. I think you can probably find a couple of good trades a week, which is all you really need. Given the price of $1.99 for ever, as long as it lasts, I would say it's probably worth it. I'd say there's a few red flags like I talked about in this previous video, but apart from that, I'd say actually it's not bad. Probably worth a shot. It's cheap enough that it's not going to break the bank. It's not $1,200 or $1,000. It's only $199, so pretty good. Anyway, I'll try and keep this updated. I'm not going to do it every single day. It's too much work, but hopefully I can keep you guys updated with some of the different trades. And we can kind of try and get a feel for whether the service is profitable or not. And I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves is I've no idea whether this is, like there's no way to know how profitable this really is. There's no track record. So I guess like to me that feels a bit like a red flag. Like you can show the occasional winner like this, and then you can show the occasional losing trade, but without a full back-tested track record, how do we know this is just not like random, like luck, you know? It's kind of hard. Also, there's still no information on where these trades actually come from. Like the ads, like the option bandits guys will they'll respond to the ads questions and stuff, and so you'll get some information from responses in the comments, like I showed you guys this one, and they're kind of a little bit. So I looked into this profile, for example, and it looks like a fake profile, but there's people buying the system based on this profile. But I looked, and this seems to be a fake profile from looking at this person in more detail. So I do worry a little bit that there's a little bit of manipulation going on in the market. All that being said, I still don't think this is a bad service. I think it's something worth checking out, and you guys might want to treat yourself for Christmas for something like this. Alright guys, talk to you soon. Have a good Christmas.